Well, I'll try. Okay, well, I do know a good on this call. I'm going to mute everyone. I'm going to stop my screen share. And if you're there, you can go ahead and mute, or I will mute you. Okay, so good evening. I'm so excited and so thankful for each of you being on this call tonight. I do know a good bit of you, but several of you are also new faces to me. So we are so excited to do something unique tonight. With February being the month of love, we decided to share some couples who take Plexus together and share how it's impacted our life, so you could hear it from both sides. I think a lot of times people get the misconception that Plexus is just for girls because it's pink. And so that's absolutely could not be further from the truth. Health is for every human being, and Plexus is something for every person that they need. So we are going to just kind of jump right in tonight. We're going to let Brent and Valerie share their story, and then we're going to kind of talk a little bit more about how the products work and why they work, and then we're going to share a couple more stories as we go along. So if y'all are ready, y'all can unmute and take it away.
All right, ma'am.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, Maya's causing problems.
So we are in the hospital, but there will be some interruptions just for all the bells and whistles and stuff. But also, if you haven't noticed yet, can you see our shirts? We found out today that we're going to be grandparents, so we're very, very excited. So, but anyway, Valerie, you tell, because you started us on this.
Okay, yeah. So basically, we started because of my health. It was basically just all over the place. Digestive issues, skin problems, chronic fatigue, running a fever every day, and
No energy.
couldn't figure out why. Went to infectious disease, internal medicine, gastro doctor, gynecologist, and basically no one had any answers from me, but they just wanted to put me on prescriptions without telling me, you know, what the problem was or how I could fix it. And so, long story short, after spending a lot of money and a lot of time searching, we just finally gave up and just decided this was going to be our new normal, and had just kind of tried to come to grips with it and proceeded to try to do the best we could with what we had. And at that point, probably about a year after that, this was about 10 years ago, but about 6 years ago, Brent's cousin has MS. She's about 10 years younger than me. And she said, Valerie, I just started this recently, a couple months ago, and I have MS, as you know, and it helped me so much with my symptoms. And so with her telling me that and knowing who she is, I automatically took her very seriously and thought, well, if this can help her, maybe this can also help me. And so Brent's like, absolutely, go for it.
Whatever. At that point, we had spent so much money and time chasing down, and every doctor, oh, we can help you, we can help you. And they would try all kind of stuff. I mean, crazy stuff, money out, just tons of money. If she would have said we're going to move to Alaska to help me, I'd have done it at that point, because we pastor a church, we have 6 kids, and she was miserable. I mean, her quality of life was just absolutely to the point of, it was really bad. And it was hard on us, our marriage, the kids, there was no energy for the kids. And it was just miserable. So she said, we're going to try this. And I'm like, I don't care. Let's do it. Try it.
Right. So I got started, and probably about 6 to 8 weeks in, I started noticing that I had more energy in the afternoon. My normal had been basically 3 o'clock, I'm done. I'm pretty much shot for the rest of the day in the evening. And I was just doing the basic necessities, trying to keep the laundry done, grocery store, and church, and that was it. So I noticed that I had energy during the middle of the day, like normally I didn't, and I would continue doing, you know, laundry, etc. And that was unusual for me. And at first I didn't think that it was correlated with the products, because I'm like, I was so skeptical after trying so many things and just not seeing any results. But then the more consistent I was, the more changes I began to see. I started going to bed and going to sleep, and that was rare. I was having major insomnia problems. It was not uncommon for me to be up to 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And, when you don't get sleep, that's miserable and a miserable way to live. So when I started seeing results, I started sleeping better, having energy. My digestive problems started clearing up. My skin started looking
depression,
better.
all that picked up just so much better.
Improved mood. I wasn't dealing with the depression like I was because I felt better. And I noticed a big change in my immune system. And that's when I'm like, well, because we got everything. The kids would come home sick and then we would get it. And it was just a constant cycle in and out of the doctor's office, the pediatrician's office. And I'm like, well, if this is helping me, maybe this will help Brent, because Brent was coming home and he would want to take a nap every day, complained about his feet hurting, had some fungus issues with his feet. Well, there's nothing really
that's not that we don't have to share
not really
that.
TMI with Plexus. We talk about poop, we talk about fungus.
I talk about poop a lot, actually.
Yeah. And the boys were covered with warts. I'd spent a lot of money at the dermatologist getting them burned off, cut off. Colin even had to have surgery because of one. And I put them on our probiotic, on the Probio 5, and it cleared up all the warts for all 3 of the boys. So that was a huge win. And then Maya, when she was 3, which we had battled this initially when we had first got her, but C. diff, coli, salmonella, all at the same for 4 months. We fought it. And with 2 rounds of Flagyl, 2 rounds of clindamycin, the last one being a 3-week regimen, finally took care of it. But long story short, John Hopkins policy is transplant patients should not have probiotics because of the bacteria. Something to do with the bacteria. So long story short, she was so bad off that they recommended me do something. So them to start the X Factor Kids multivitamins because they had already helped Hudson. Hudson was low iron, and I put him on those, and that raised his iron without anything else, just the chewables. And so they finally approved and let her try them. And y'all, for the last 3+ years, she has not had C. diff or E. coli or salmonella since. And that's been the only real change, has been that multivitamin. But Brent, what are a few of the other things that you want to talk about?
So at this point, I would say the biggest thing for me is just in the morning, the pink drink. I've been doing that since she really got us on it. But then she added the active. And so that really helps me because, full day and all that. But then last year, I guess, you got to get plugged in, baby. Your battery's dead. Last year, she said, I want you to try something because she was noticing how bad my face was starting to wrinkle. And so she started me on that collagen. And so I don't think I'm a vain person, like in a big way, but you could really start seeing a huge difference just in my wrinkles and stuff, especially on my crow's feet. So then she wants to start me on this facial stuff. And I've never done facial stuff in my life because that's just not a big deal. But then start to do that. And so those things, the 3 things I think have been the most for me that I've actually seen. I don't know, my numbers have always been good on that. But my face is really, my wrinkles are better. My energy, I used to get bronchitis all the time because I would preach. I'd get a cold. 2 weeks later, it goes bronchitis. And that was a pattern for 15 years.
Months, he would cough and cough.
Lose my voice. And as a preacher, losing your voice is terrible. Cough, distracting, terrible. So that hasn't happened at all. So I think the energy level, the bronchitis stuff, the wrinkles, the face looking better. But then the other thing that I like is the ease, because I still try to stay active. I play basketball, coach basketball, try to work out. And man, when I get stove up after that, the ease, the pills, we take those. And then if I'm really bad, she'll get the cream. So that's the stuff that I use, and that's the stuff that makes a difference for me. Yeah. I'm sure all the other stuff is working great. And my body, I'm really good in the bathroom, like really.
Okay. That's okay. Also, with all the stuff with Maya going on, our levels of stress have been through the roof. As you can imagine, we just moved into our new building, over $5 million project going on while Maya's been inpatient here for 5 months. And 6 months out of last year, we were inpatient. And so the Vital Biome probiotic Brent and I both take daily has been a game changer, because that's really just kind of kept us a lot more even kill. I imagine we would be in much worse, because, and there's been times actually when we've doubled up on that to try to get us through some tougher things, family stuff. And I just can't imagine us going through what we're going through right now without the last 5 years of investing in our immune system, reducing inflammation in our body, and just really focusing on trying to do the things that we can do that are good for our health. And it's really changed our whole family. We got a call last year from our pediatrician that said, basically, we haven't seen your kids in 2 years. You need to at least bring them in for a well visit. So things like that, where that was not even close to our normal before Plexus.
Spending a couple $100 a month, just taking the kids back and forth on co-pays and stuff.
Right. So Brent has literally he's not on any prescription drugs of any kind. His cholesterol is great, triglycerides, blood pressure.
Just had a physical. Perfect.
Blood sugars, and stronger.
And he's a grandpa too. I know. Hello.
Right. So that's just hitting basically the top things that we can think about. You know, we could sit here and talk for another 20 minutes about it, but I know that Julie and Tyler and Ashley and Levi have stuff they want to share too. But if you guys have specific questions about any of the thing in our testimony, please, reach out. We'd love to answer any questions you have.
Thank y'all so much. I guess as y'all were listening to that, I could add a little bit to that I've just recently, just today actually, we came back from their church, and I can tell you that they are extremely busy, and that, am I doing something? Can y'all hear me? Okay, they are extremely busy, and they are living a life that not many of us are not living, especially with, basically living at the hospital. And yet they still have the health that they have in order to be ministering to the needs of other people right now. And to me, I credit that, well, obviously to the Lord and his strength. But then when you hear where Valerie was before Plexus, her day ending at 3:00, we were actually at her house till midnight the other night. So, I mean, life is.
Let's clarify that. We were standing around talking. Ashley was passed out on the couch, but that's a whole nother story.
Okay, y'all. I like to get up at 5 a.m. So you understand that. Okay, so I'm just going to give you just a little bit more information, and I'm doing something a little new tonight. So if I mess it up, I apologize. I know all of us are friends around here, and what am I not seeing? Oh, I'm going to share my screen with you so I can talk with you for just a second and use a visual. So, you all are on this call and you're thinking, okay, great. I love to hear stories. But how's this going to help me? Because we're all coming from different places. And so I'm going to give you a list of things that you might be dealing with. And I want you to look at these and I want you to think to yourself, is this something I can relate to? So I'm going to go here. Okay. Can you relate to any of these? Here are some symptoms of your gut being out of balance: gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation. So those are your gut issues that are pretty obvious. You may not think about skin issues. If you look right there at number 3, if you can see my screen right now, eczema, you're going to hear some about that probably later tonight from Julie. Dry skin, psoriasis, that's a huge one. Acne, depression, and anxiety, you don't think about that being linked to your gut, but there's actually something we call the gut-brain axis that actually connects your gut to your brain. And it's a very strong link. I think about 70% of your serotonin or something along those lines is made in your gut. So how important it is for you to have a healthy gut. Your hormones are linked to your gut. Just feeling tired, run down all the time, weight gain, trouble losing weight, trouble sleeping, which Valerie mentioned, even joint pain, arthritis issues can be linked to gut. Obesity, autoimmune is huge. You'll probably hear about that later. Some vitamin deficiencies, thyroid issues, which are also linked to autoimmune issues too. So if you find yourself in any of these situations, then this is you are a person that definitely could use Plexus. Now, you're looking at that list and you're like, well, none of my issues are on that. Well, I only had 2 of those issues whenever I came to Plexus, but I had some other issues that weren't on the list. For example, if you're dealing with your blood levels from your doctor being off, your cholesterol, blood pressure, you're going to see that Plexus can actually help with those things too. But this is just mostly about purely gut health. So what you can do is you can go on to Google and you can just type in your issue gut health, and you can see if your issues comes up. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about your gut as a garden. And I'm a gardener and I grew up on a farm. So for me, this is just kind of natural. I've already started preparing the soil for our garden coming up. I've pulled out the old things and we're already thinking about what we're going to add in. So this just is something that I live every year. So if you look over here, you're going to have to pull out the old stuff. You're not going to grow a very good garden with anything else in there. So think about your gut that way, that there's things in there that shouldn't be there. And if you've ever heard of Candida, then it's a fungus that you're born with, and it can actually grow out of control based upon your lifestyle. So if you've taken a lot of antibiotics, you've taken birth control, had a lot of stress, and eat a lot of sugar, then a lot of times your Candida is way overgrown. So you're going to have to pull that out. And the way that you do that is with our product called our Probio 5. Now, I had taken probiotics for a really long time whenever I came to Plexus, but I just wasn't really seeing results. And the reason was held in the little ingredients on the back. It has an antifungal in it. And, you're thinking, oh my word, like I've got to, you think about antifungal cream, like something you put on the outside of your body, but what you're seeing on the outside is really just a representation of what's on the inside. And so that is something that goes in and actually attacks the fungus inside your gut that's overgrown. So you got to pull that out, and then you got to feed it. Excuse me, you got to seed. I skipped the seed part. Probio 5 does both of those things. So it pulls out the bad and helps take care of the bad, and then also puts in the good. So a lot of times we have something where the bad is just so overgrown. We got to get rid of that and make a balance come to our gut again, so that we can actually start having those foundations of health, so that we can start seeing results with all these other issues that we're dealing with on the outside. So then you put in the seed, which is the good bacteria. Probio 5 has 5 specific strands that actually make it to your gut. It's not going to just go with your food. It's not just going to digest with the rest of your food. It's going to actually make it to your stomach because of the way that it's made. And then you're going to also weed and seed with BioCleanse. So we take out the bad, put in the good, but how are we going to get rid of all that bad? And so that's where BioCleanse comes in. It's going to ship out the bad guys. Now, do not get confused that this is going to make you be in the bathroom more than you should be, because really they say you should be going to 1 to 3 times a day. Okay, so that's pretty normal. This product actually balances out wherever you are. And every person's very different. Some people take a lot, some people only need 1 or 2, but it's going to bring balance. Think about BioCleanse like this. It's going to do it's going to assist your body in doing what it's already doing more efficiently. Okay, so it's going to take out the bad stuff that Probio 5 picks up. Slim is a huge game changer for a lot of people, especially people who have diabetes. It was specifically formulated for that, but it's beneficial for everybody. So you think, oh, I don't have blood sugar problems. Well, if you've ever felt tired in the afternoon, then you have blood sugar issues. Your body goes just like this all day long, or you wake up in the morning and you're shaky and you need to eat, or you constantly need another little thing to just keep your body at that stasis point. That's your body fighting the blood sugar battle. So everybody needs it. And whenever our body has that nice little stasis moment, everything starts to feel a lot better. Your mood that he was talking about earlier gets a lot better. When we first started Plexus, I would be like, have you taken your Slim today? Here, let me go make it for you. And he would probably say that to me if I did not take mine, but
I'm not moody.
I'm not either. But if I didn't take mine, he would probably ask if I had or not. Anyway, so Slim actually has more than just something to help your blood sugar in it. It also helps with your cholesterol, blood pressure, but also prebiotics. So it's feeding the good stuff. Okay, so you've taken out the bad stuff, put in some good stuff, send it out, and then you're putting in Miracle Grow, and you're keeping it growing. You're putting in the fertilizer, and then there's another product that is not part of the triplex, but it is an additional product that you can take, and it's called X Factor Plus. That's our vitamin, and that's sort of a protection, which we all know we need a garden protection from deer. And so this is what we use, and this is called the triplex. This is just a really good starting place, and it's a simple system that works. And so I've kind of given you a tiny bit of the science and just like a reason why this could help you and how it helps. And then I'm going to turn it over to Julie, who is going to give you a little bit more of her story and talk to you about weight loss.
I couldn't find my unmute once you took away the picture. I'm like chasing my unmute button. Thank you guys so much for being on here. And I know that the way that Ashley explained the process of gut health and how our gut health system helps you seems very simple. And for you sitting here listening, you know, some of you may be thinking, really, is it really that simple? Is it really going to help me that much? But my sister Valerie and I were in the same position with our health as far as thousands of dollars invested, doctors telling us that they would figure it out and they couldn't figure it out, running a fever for 3 years every day, developing autoimmune disease because I had no idea that if I had chronic gut issues, that if my gut issues continued, like bloating and cramping after I ate, and then it turned in, guess what, to lactose intolerance. And then because I didn't know that I could address and improve my gut health, it went from lactose intolerant to me developing autoimmune disease. And to say that it affected every area of my life is a complete and total understatement. I was working 50, 60 hours a week at that point. My boss was a major slave driver. I'm just kidding. That's Brent. But no, we were starting a school and the hours were crazy, but I would come home, get on a heating pad or go straight to bed. I had a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old at home. I was in way too much pain to even bend over the bathtub to give them baths. Cooking supper and doing laundry was like a major deal. And I usually had to wait until an off day to even be able to do laundry because I didn't have anything left. And I had developed major hormonal imbalance, hormonal acne, and not to mention the traveling joint pain. You know, Ashley said that she looked at that list that she gave you, and there's like 60 that can be on that list, 60 different symptoms of poor gut health. And while she's like, I had 2 of those, I looked at them and went through them, and I had 13 out of the 15 symptoms that were on that list. And I have been praying and begging God for solutions, for answers. And based on a friend who had fibromyalgia posting about her results that she had seen by supplementing and using this gut health system, while I was waiting to see a rheumatologist to get put on some serious prescription medications, I decided to give these gut health products a chance. And as you could see on that list, 2 of the things were obesity and difficulty losing weight. I gained weight so easily, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get it off. Obviously, hormonal imbalance has to do with that, but also digestive issues and autoimmune disease is the perfect storm. So I was easily 250, 260 pounds at the time when I started Plexus. And because of my starting and because of the improvements that I saw, now mind you, it took me a good 3 months before I started seeing serious changes. By the 3rd month, I had lost 2 inches off of my waist simply because of bloating and inflammation being gone. And then over the next 6 months, I dropped 40 pounds without changing my diet, without doing any kind of exercise routine or anything. The gut health system literally helped heal my body and help it to act in a way that it was designed to act, to function in a way it was designed because it hadn't done that in so long. It reset my metabolism. Balancing my blood sugar was a total game changer. Because my digestive tract was working better and my hormones were being balanced, I literally 40 pounds. And it was the first time in my life that I had had an easy time losing weight. And so that's just part of my story. But in the process of all this happening, my husband decided.
Oh, so yeah, so in the process of all that, she obviously was like, Tyler, I'm gonna try this out. And like she said, we were kind of at our wits' end, kind of like Brent and Valerie were too. Just, I mean, we were willing to try or do anything at this point. So she started trying it, and she started trying it during the summer. And I wanted to be included in it as well, and just see how it was and just see what it was like. And so I started taking just taking the pink drink at first for the first couple of weeks, and mainly because we just really didn't have the money because we were spending so much on doctors and all that kind of stuff. And we were having to eat out a lot because we were both working full time and she couldn't cook. And we don't want me to cook at home very often, so I can make like tacos and that's about it. So we were having to kind of scrimp together. We were kind of going into debt, just trying to figure out what we were going to try to do to fix her. And once we kind of got a little bit more stable, we weren't spending as much on doctors. I started taking the products, and I didn't really have any problems that I knew about. There was, I don't have trouble sleeping. I don't have, trouble losing weight. My whole life, all I have to do is just stop drinking soda or Coke, and I would start dropping pounds. That's just kind of how it's always been. And so I was like, I'll try it just, to see what it's like. I just wanted to experience it with her. And I felt a little left out, if I'm being honest. And so I started taking the triplex. I didn't take anything else, just took the triplex. And after about, I'd say probably about 4 or 5 weeks or so, I lost a couple of inches on my pants size as well. I was filling out my pants pretty good back then, and dropped a couple inches, and I started feeling better. And while a lot of people have the constipation issues, I was having the opposite. I was going to the bathroom, 6-7 times a day.
And trying to convince me it was normal.
And trying to, I was like, this is just how it is. It's not just because I have a quick metabolism, and it regulated me down to be a little bit more normal. And so that was a huge deal. That was one of those things that I didn't even really notice. She pointed it out to me. So there was that. And then I was also having I was starting to have a lot of joint pain in my knees whenever I would go and play basketball, or I would try to, go exercise or go running or something. My knees would get really swelled up and they would hurt really bad. And I noticed that was going away. I wasn't having, trouble, getting up off the ground like I was. My knees weren't popping. And the other thing is I was having a lot of acid reflux. I would, no matter what I ate, it didn't, try to avoid these foods if you don't want acid reflux. Didn't really matter. It was just one of those things that I just kind of lived with, and it was happening all the time. 2 or 3 times a day, it would just burn, and just like constantly. And I noticed that started just subsiding, started going away. And really it only started happening when I was doing stupid things with my eating habits, which I still do. But like she said, we didn't change our eating habits. We didn't change our schedules. We didn't change doing any more exercise than we were before.
All dropped 20 pounds.
Yeah, I dropped from about 210 down to about 185 doing nothing, just because I was still eating terrible. I was still eating large bowls of cereal at 11:30 at night, and just getting my gut health under control just helped me kind of level off and become healthier.
Yeah, listen to the fact that he's taking those products. Don't listen to the part where he's eating giant bowls of cereal.
I don't do that anymore.
But one thing that he and I both started, because it was a product that didn't come out for a couple of years, is Vital Biome. And I know that Brent and Valerie just got done saying it, but Tyler has always kind of been
I've always
Eeyore.
been kind of a melancholy kind of guy. I'm not super outgoing. And so Julie was like, why don't you try this Vital Biome? And I was like, I'm not depressed. I don't need whatever that's going to do for me. And, me, the skeptic, even after all the stuff we've seen Plexus do for us, I was still like, I'm not going to do it. Well, I started taking them, and within about a week, it was just like, I was a different person. I was much less, anxiety ridden, and we were going through some things for a couple of years, and it really helped kind of remove that cloud from over me. I'm still, I'm still the same guy. I just am a lot easier to be around, I think, in the mornings.
And we tested it too. He took it for a couple of months, and I'm like, man, I can really tell a difference. And then I purposely let us run out. And I guess it was 10 days later.
Yep.
And I was like, why are you being so negative? And he's like, well, I think I need my Vital Biome back. So I'm like, order the Vital Biome. Literally within 4 or 5 days of taking it, he felt better. And what that Vital Biome does is it is a targeted probiotic. So what it does is it targets and helps you produce more serotonin in your gut, which is your happy hormone. And it's one of those things that is a that's a sign of poor gut health. Is so many people struggle with this and don't even know that there is an option. That it's not just necessarily, oh, well, you just need to pray harder, you need to have more faith. No, sometimes your body's whacked out and you need to give your body the things that it needs. And it's amazing how when we give our bodies the things that it needs, that it functions how God designed, and things work out so much better. And then last but not least, after I lost those 40 pounds, I got pregnant, had my daughter, which I was not going to be able to have any more children. But because of what Plexus did, we were able to have our third child and be able to have a little girl. And in 2020, I decided that it was time to go ahead and get that baby weight off. And so on top of the gut health products, after healing my gut for years and getting my hormones back in balance after having her, I added in our weight loss products. MetaBurn and Active is my best friend, just like Brent talked about. Oh my word, I love it. Don't miss a day. And then I also started using lean protein shakes as well, and was able to lose 60 pounds during 2020 to be able to get back to a great healthy weight. And I'm in the best shape that I've been. I look and feel better than I did when I was 20, in my 20s, we won't say, because I'm almost my last year in my 30s, y'all. Oh, anyway, so I say all that to say this. Some of you have tried to lose weight, and some of you have been struggling for years like I did. I mean, you've done all the things, but you can't lose the weight. You can't keep it off. One of the reasons for that is because of poor gut health. Okay, Plexus, you can use Plexus to lose weight, but what you have to remember is that Plexus is geared toward long-term health. If you invest in your long-term health and get your body healed, then it will function properly and you will be able to do the work to lose the weight. And you working hand in hand with a healthy body can get you to the weight that you need to be. And that's where I was. I would not have been able to lose the weight and keep it off like I have if I had not improved my gut health and healed so much of the other issues that I was dealing with. So Ashley, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
I love that, Julie. A lot of times people just want to address the symptoms, the outside, rather than thinking about the inside. And health is really from the inside out once you start learning more about it. So we are going to share just really quick. My husband had to go outside because the wind is blowing so bad that it sounded like it blew off the porch. But my story's not as challenging as maybe where these ladies were. I love to hear their stories. I've heard it now for 5 years and it's never got old because it's just amazing what can happen, and I think about their ministries. This is not a specific ministry call, but I think about the things that they're doing for other people. And I just think to myself, would they be able to do that if they weren't in the place where they are? Health has many benefits, and the blessing of health is a blessing. It really is. And God is able to use us in any situation, but it is sure nice to be able to feel good enough to be able to not just think about yourself all the time and be a blessing to other people. So our story started out 6 years ago, in fact, this month. And even though I only had, a short number of things on that list, I was the one holding the fort down, in the Nick's house, because somebody over here had a lot more of the things on that list. And so I was the one praying for him because I was concerned. We weren't even 30 years old at the time, and he was already dealing with a tremendous amount of health issues. I knew this was not a good recipe for where our life needed to go. He wasn't, were you pastoring at the time? 6 years ago? Yeah, you were actually pastoring at the time, working full time. And it just, he'll tell you more about his story. For me personally, I was just needing some help because of really where he was. And so I just needed energy because I had 3 children, 4 and under at the time, and I was really tired. And Plexus answered that within a few days for me. I didn't have a long list of things, but the crazy thing is that Plexus has changed my entire health too. I don't even crave the things I used to crave. I was just craving, I still love the taste of coffee, but I could drink decaf coffee and be fine. But I used to drink Diet Dr. Pepper all the time. That was my favorite thing. I just don't even want it anymore. I just have a desire to eat healthier things. And it's just funny how whenever your body does get better from the inside out, you want to keep it that way. So I'm actually just most of our story is wrapped up around him. So I'm going to let him tell you his part.
Okay. So I wish we could share the limelight like other couples, but there's no way I can fit on the space of the camera. And I'm sorry, I honestly, I had to step out to go flip a trampoline over because of high winds here. So that's why everybody watched me and Ashley do this. That's what happened. So Ashley usually just hands me health products and says, "Here, take this," and I do not question what. Oh, I'm really loud. But nonetheless, yeah, we agree. I usually don't question that. I'm like, oh, okay, what am I taking? The only thing that I take without my wife's input on that is I drink apple cider vinegar raw, and she hates that. But I only do that when I'm feeling symptoms. But she handed me a pink drink and was like, "Here, drink this." And I don't care what color a drink is. I heard other people complain about the taste of Plexus, and I'm like, it never did bother me. I like the taste of it, and I started drinking it every day. And I noticed that usually I would stop at 2 and 3 in the afternoon and grab another cup of coffee, and it would be my 4th or 5th one of the day. Go ahead and finish off the rest of the pot. And I noticed that kind of stopped after lunch. My digestive sort of regulation, my blood sugar wasn't dropping. I wasn't starting to doze off at the desk or feel my eyes getting heavy and have to stand up and walk around. So I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. And then she said, well, they've got some other products too. We were at the verge of this was a price we were paying. It was a lot cheaper than my visiting the chiropractor 2 times a week. And I was kind of really exhausted that option. We're spending over $200 a month there. And so the pink drink was a great option, but she said, they've got another product. And I think it was like $30 at the time. She was like, there's another product called Ease. And I was like, what does it have in it? And she's like, it's got turmeric. And I had heard turmeric was good for inflammation, and a green-lipped mussel from New Zealand. And these other combinations are supposed to be good for inflammation. So I said, yeah, let's start that. Now, in my history, I've always had a 15-degree curve from scoliosis. My back goes this way. And the tension had been so bad on that just from my early 20s to my mid-20s that I was unable to really stretch out flat on a bed because my muscles, as soon as they were relaxed, would stop, they would start cramping. And I would eat bananas, I would drink water, I'd drink pickle juice, I would load up on magnesium, which is in the Slim, and I would try a whole bunch of different things to try to solution to that, but I wasn't even sleeping in the bed. And so I tried one pill of Ease, and that one pill, within the second day, I slept all night in my bed. And it was an amazing process. I had only been making it on 2 and 3 hours worth of sleep. I'd been grouchy and grumpy. A whole lot of other things that I did not like about myself. I've always been either joking or laughing with somebody, or at least active in something else. And so Ease has been really ascend. And on top of that, I'm not easy on my body. Just when I was totaling up the list of things that you were symptoms, like what have I done in the last year that Plexus products has really been a benefit to me. Within the past year, I've fallen off a porch, fallen off a ladder twice, and well, it was February. I cut my leg with a chainsaw. All of that, ease cream that works significantly well. Plexus body cream for scarring, stuff like that. Just different products that I found to be widely supportive of a whole lot of issues. But I think I can second with all the guys that are here. Ease is a great thing. When you put a day in, let's say you're not accustomed to pouring concrete or setting fence posts or chopping wood, ease is a definite benefit. The other thing that Tyler was talking about, Vital Biome, whereas Tyler was speaking more for the kind of pulling out of that anxiety feeling. I've experienced that before too. I also suffer from letters. Me and Brent were joking this week. We had letters before they knew what the letters were. There's a whole bunch of ADD and ADHD before they knew what it was. We were just getting whippings and we had no idea why. But I take 2 Vital Biome every day, which is probably a lot, but I'm a big person. My 2 Vital Biome really help me in the area of focus. They are they're called what, psychrobiomes, psychomicrobials. That's they affect your mental state based on your gut bacteria. And that was just amazing to me. And I noticed a difference. I started my mom on that product. She was suffering the same thing. We're really similar. She was suffering the same thing. So I started, my over 60 mother on this, and she noticed a difference with that. So it's been an enormous contribution. Plexus, I take more products than right now. I actually take more Plexus products than my wife. And I love everyone that I take, and I take everyone purposefully and daily, and I can tell if I miss a day.
Yeah.
Unashamed peak drink consumer right here.
Yeah, his mom, she actually wasn't sleeping well at night. She has anxiety in the night. She'll wake up thinking about things, can't go back to sleep. And so Vital Biome helps her sleep through the night. So that's such a blessing for her. So thank you so much for listening to our stories. I did want to give you just a 2 minute or maybe even 1 minute as fast as I can make it, because I made a slide while we were talking about how you, like I said, this is sort of new for me, but I made a slide that you can see the ways that you can actually get started with Plexus, because you may be thinking, I need that. I need that in my life. And that was me when I first heard about it. It did take me asking a lot of questions though. So if you have questions, there is no question that is wrong. I probably asked 100 before I started, because as strange as it is to say, people are willing to pay money for sickness, but a lot of times we don't want to reach in our pocket for wellness. And each one of us, myself included, even though I wasn't going to the doctor a lot, this one was, and it was constant. And we were on a single income, and that is not a pretty picture. And so it is very hard. And so Plexus has answered those prayers that we talked about earlier. I prayed that God would send something, because I thought it was going to take a miracle to fix all of his wrongs. He didn't talk about his digestive issues that were also, he had IBS that was huge for him. And Plexus has helped with all of those issues. And so I personally thank the Lord for sending it to our family, because all of our children take it, and our families on both sides. So I'm going to tell you, you're going to have a lot of questions, but I am just going to give you a little snippet of how it kind of works whenever you do want to get started, if you decide to make that decision. Okay, so here are the 2 ways to get started. You can choose retail or VIP customer. And that says gut health really does matter. And I think we proved that to you tonight. So retail is sort of that person who thinks, oh, I want to try that, but I don't really want to take the plunge all the way. So it's a one-time purchase, but you do have an account that you can go in and reorder at any time. It is the most expensive option. You're paying retail price. It's kind of like whenever you look at a book in the store and you turn it over and it tells you what the price is, and that's what you're paying. It's not discounted. But you can always start this way and upgrade later at any time. You do get a 60-day money-back guarantee on every product that Plexus sells. So it's just pretty simple. And then the next way is VIP customer. This is, of course, my favorite way because I told y'all that I was a we were a single income family, not single, but we were a single income family when I started. So I had to start the most cost efficient way for our family. And so this is what we did. We signed up to get the 25% off all year long. Usually that costs kind of like a Sam's membership. You know how you like pay to have the membership and to get in the door? Well, that's kind of the way it is with Plexus, except this month it only costs $2.22 to do that, which is not the same price as a Coca-Cola. Those things have gone up so much. And usually it costs $10 for the first year. And then you get your first set of products cheaper than the usual price. So you kind of get like a welcome gift. It's called a welcome pack. And this month they're 10% off. And there's 2 levels. There's like a 109, 209 level. But they're 10% off. You only pay $2 to get those cheapest prices for the year. And you also have a referral link that's going to be interesting to some of you, not to others. It's not something that you're required to use, but it is a blessing to have because you can use it and earn money to go towards your own products. And then you also have the perks program. This is available for every person who's a VIP customer, and you earn points by continuing your subscription. Doesn't have to be monthly, it can be every month or even several months out, but keeping your subscription on will allow you to earn free products. And I have people who earn products every other month who just buy the triplex. So it's really neat, and Plexus really rewards us very well. So it's a huge blessing. Did anybody else have anything to add before we go for tonight? Or anything else that I forgot?
Tyler said that he forgot to add on the Mega X, is that he really struggles with focus, and our son does too, as far as like the whole ADD thing. And he started taking, what, you take 5 or 6?
I usually take 4 or 5, but the last little bit I've been taking 5 or 6. It makes a huge difference. I sit in front of a computer all day, so maintaining focus is like an absolute must. Otherwise, I just don't get anything done because we got, like she said, we have 3 kids running around and 2 in-laws running around with the Fox News or Gunsmoke playing in the background constantly. So focus is hard to come by, and the TV is literally 5 feet from my head. So aside from just putting headphones in or working out in the car or something, my Mega X saves me all the time. It saves our son from getting in a lot of trouble as well. So Mega X is one of those supplemental products that if you have any ADHD, any ADD focus issues, I recommend it all day, every day.
Yeah, my son can actually sit down and complete an entire page of schoolwork, which was an impossibility before Mega X. So, but that's what we wanted to add on. Sorry if we talked too long.
No, you didn't. I was reading over there in that chat. Kimberly was saying that she takes both ProBio 5 and Vital Biome.
I take my Vital Biome in the morning too. That's one I. That's one of my.
Everybody kind of. Plexus is a personal product. You get to personalize it for your own self. So I'm going to stop the recording and